This past October, I was fortunate to spend 10 days exploring Japan with my dad. It was my second time here, and my appreciation for the country only deepened, especially as we experienced the contrast between its energy and its stillness. Between crowded cities and rural places few travelers ever see. If you've ever been curious about Japan, I think you'll enjoy what's ahead. Our first flight left Salt Lake City early in the morning, and I was already feeling the effects of a 4 a.m. wake up.
All right, bright and early, getting ready to board the flights to Seattle.
If you're anything like me, the night before a big trip is always a mix of excitement and very little sleep. After a short layover in Seattle, we boarded our long-haul flight to Tokyo.
That plane right there with the new tail style is likely going to be the plane that we go out on.
And this is where things got really special. Somehow our flight from Seattle to Tokyo, God blessed us with upgrades to Delta One. My dad is a pilot for Delta, and under very rare circumstances, he's awarded what are called positive space tickets, basically guaranteed seats anywhere in the world. He was incredibly generous and chose to use 2 of those tickets for this trip with me to Japan. And if upgrades are available, those tickets automatically move you up. So in this case, we found ourselves flying Delta One for the long flight to Tokyo, an experience I honestly never expected and is one I'm extremely grateful for.
Show. Got my relaxation here.
We were flying on the brand new state-of-the-art Airbus A350, and it was easily the most comfortable seat I've ever had on an airplane. The seat was wide, incredibly cushioned, and could recline nearly flat. My excitement kept me from fully taking advantage of the sleep position, but I did manage to get a nice nap in.
It's amazing. Thank you, beautiful.
The food was fantastic too. Dinner was roasted chicken with mushrooms, garlic mashed potatoes, and asparagus, followed by an ice cream sundae. Breakfast was a Japanese-style meal with chicken in dashi broth, vegetables, rice, and fruit. I also caught up on a few movies, including an old favorite of mine, Fantastic Mr. Fox. If you haven't seen this stop-motion classic starring George Clooney, you're missing out. Because of the time zone change, we landed in Tokyo on the next day in the early afternoon. The customs area in Haneda Airport was enormous, but thanks to Japanese efficiency, it didn't take long to get through. After picking up our welcome Suica cards, which I'll cover in another video, we hopped on the train from Haneda to Asakusa and finally stepped onto the streets of Tokyo in the early evening.
All right, Dad, we made it off the train, right?
Not far in the distance stood Tokyo Skytree Tower, and walking through the historic Senso-ji area was an incredible way to start the trip. Seeing old and new Japan come together, this was my dad's first time seeing traditional Japanese shrines and pagodas in person, which made it even more special. After dropping our bags at the hotel, I decided to really immerse my dad in Japanese nightlife and took him over to Akihabara. Akihabara is an experience. Bright lights, colorful signs, and non-stop energy fueled by gaming, anime, and electronics.
I just kind of wanted to roughly show you this.
As a fan of nerd culture myself, I knew I'd be coming back later in the trip to check out the card and game shops, but for now it was enough to give my dad a taste of the city and the sheer insanity of Yodobashi Camera. Yodobashi is an enormous department store, focused on electronics, but somehow it also sells just about everything under the sun, all inside one massive building. Walking through it is sensory overload and an attraction in itself.
Cameras, watches, beauty appliances, and cosmetics are on the 3rd floor.
The 6th floor of Yodobashi is an absolute blast for nerds. There's a massive video game section with huge areas dedicated to PlayStation and Nintendo, and the Lego selection alone was honestly impressive. Anyone into Gundam kits or model trains would lose track of time up here too.
That's their own version of Transformers.
And yes, I did have to explain to my dad that Gundams are not Transformers. As we kept exploring, the scale of the store really started to sink in. Floor after floor had everything imaginable, from some of the biggest TVs I've ever seen to bicycles, musical instruments, home appliances, photography gear, you name it, they probably sell it. Yodobashi isn't just a store, it's an experience, and one that I highly recommend if you ever visit Japan. We ended the night with a late meal on the top floor. Despite it being our first night in Japan, we went with Korean and enjoyed a delicious dish of bibimbap. It definitely wouldn't be the last time we enjoyed Korean food in Japan. After a long day of travel and exploring the city at night, it was time to recharge because the next day was going to be a big one. So stay tuned for part 2, where I'll be covering some of Tokyo's spots you definitely don't want to miss. There's so much more adventure still to come in this series. If you're enjoying the journey, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Catch you guys in the next one.